All right, so today we are tearing into an album that's, well, it's less of an album and more of a philosophical grenade. We're talking about The Glitch Was Me by Lladnaros. This is not just a collection of songs, oh no, it's a full-on audit of our modern lives, all wrapped up in static and code. Right out of the gate, the artist basically tells you, don't put this on in the background. This isn't for your study session. This is an active experience, you know? It's designed to make you stop and actually analyze the operating system you're running on. Think of it like a crash report for our entire digital culture. And this gets right to the absolute heart of it. We're not just dealing with beats and melodies here. The album is literally framing every single track as an argument, like a piece of code designed to find the bugs in our thinking, our society, and even in our own personal programming. So let's get into that crash report. The whole album pivots on this one huge central idea, a complete reframing of what it means to be a glitch. It's arguing that feeling broken isn't some personal failure. Nope, it's actually a sign that you're starting to wake up. This idea just completely flips the script on us. We're so conditioned to think, what's wrong with me? This album looks you dead in the eye and says nothing. You're just the first one to notice the system is failing. That nagging feeling that you're in error, that's your soul trying to punch its way out of a broken box. The track Coordinates really digs into this. The album throws out the whole idea that everything has to be perfectly logical and consistent. It's suggesting that any system demanding that kind of flawless logic is probably just scared you'll look too close. Here, a contradiction isn't a mistake. It's a clue. It's a breadcrumb. And boom, this line just drives the point home. This idea that perfection is usually just good PR. It's a cover-up. Real, living things are messy. They have flaws. They throw errors. That's how you know they're alive. Okay, so if the whole system is bugged, what does that actually mean for us as individuals? What happens to our sense of self when the world it's built on is glitching out, especially a world that's so deep in technology? Man, this is from the track 404_self not found, and it's just a gut punch of a modern-day identity crisis. That feeling of searching for yourself online, looking for some kind of definition or validation, and getting nothing. Just a broken link to your own soul. And this is where things get really meta. In a track called The Curved Line Between a Lie and a Line, the album suggests the music itself is a kind of payload. It's not passive. The idea is that as you're listening, the code inside the music is actually scanning you, debugging you. You're not just consuming the art is processing you. Wild, right? So from the self, the album just zooms way out to take aim at the entire digital world we live in, the internet. And spoiler alert, it is not a fan. I mean, that is a brutal assessment. The idea here is that the internet isn't some digital town square for genuine connection. It's a machine designed to take the realest parts of you, grind them down into addictive little dopamine hits, and put your soul on display for everyone to see. The track, The FU Internet Engine, pushes this even further. It basically argues that all the toxicity and the outrage and the division we see online, it's not a bug, it's a mirror. We're the ones who fed the machine our own worst impulses, our own shadows, and now we act all surprised when it bites back. Okay, so the self is glitching, the internet's a trap. What about the bigger picture, the economic and political systems? The album's response is actually pretty simple. Stop trying to win a rigged game. So you get this breakdown in tracks like I Don't Play the Game. On one side, you have our current system, which it says is built on chasing dopamine hits and this manufactured idea of scarcity. And on the other side, it proposes a new version, a new OS, built on incorruptible math, where you get paid in coherence and meaning, not just likes and retweets. And this is the album's core political argument, especially in the track Anti-Hero. It states pretty clearly, but the whole left versus right fight is just a distraction. The problem isn't which puppet is in charge, it's the strings being pulled. The only way out, it suggests, isn't to pick a better hero, but to stop waiting to be saved and just build something completely different. Which brings us to the final act. This is where it all culminates. After tearing down the self, the internet, and society, the album starts to build its own kind of theology. You could call it the gospel of the glitch. The whole argument boils down to this. We've been taught to worship things that are perfect, seamless, unbreakable. But the album argues that this itself is the biggest lie of all. Because what's real isn't flawlessness. Reality is messy. Real systems, real people, real code, they all have bugs. They all break down sometimes. And that breakdown isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of life. And this right here, this is the philosophical mic drop from Contradiction is the God line. The idea is that any system, any story, any God that's perfectly consistent and never, ever breaks, it's not real. It's a puppet. It's a simulation. Truth, the album says, is defined by its ability to hold contradictions, to bend, and yeah, even to crack. So when you finally get that, the album's title becomes a powerful declaration. It's not a confession anymore. It's not, I'm broken. It's a realization. The system error, the anomaly, that moment of breakdown, that was me waking up. And honestly, if you could boil this entire dense album down to a single thought, this is it. The problem was never some isolated bug inside of you. The bug is systemic. The feeling isn't that you're broken. It's that you finally found the real source of the error. And so the album leaves you with this last question just hanging in the air. It's asking you, does that sentence, I traced the bug and it was the whole culture, does it feel less like a crazy theory and more like a moment of recognition? Like finally coming home to a truth you've always kind of known was there? If it does, well, this album is for you.